It's another night out here in Philadelphia, and I have something really, really fun planned for tonight. I'm really happy to show this to you guys because this is one of the things that we picked out that we really wanted to come down to Philadelphia and check out. Now, we don't know where to go and what to eat around here, so I did a little bit of research online, and I found this beer garden. It has a beverage on the menu that includes an edible $100 bill. The place is called Drury's. Let me show you what it looks like and talk to you about the food. So this place, Drury's, was a ton of fun. The one thing that I thought was amazing about it was this drink, and I'm gonna circle back to that drink toward the end of this review. Not that I'm trying to hold out, but there's so much more to talk about this place. The drink is kind of the icing on the top, even though it was the reason that we went there. Now, I don't know directions around here, so Google it. It's Drury. There's a street called Drury, and that's how you find it. And that's where it is. But their menu, as far as food goes, is kind of limited. There's like maybe a dozen items and they're all kind of snacky foods. So we decided just to go there and have a low-key night, have a few beverages and some snack food. We were definitely in the mood for some fried food, so we ordered an order of mozzarella sticks to share. Now, there was kind of a little bit of confusion throughout the entire night. I think there was some problem with their point of sale system or something. I don't know the whole details, but we ended up with 2 orders of mozzarella sticks. I think we actually only got billed for 1. These mozzarella sticks were really, really good. They had a nice thick coating on it, and they serve it on the side with marinara. We're way outside of Melba territory here. Marinara was just perfect with it, and their sauce is like a nice thick tomatoey sauce. These could have benefited from a little bit of salt, but it doesn't really. Fried cheese sticks to kind of soak up whatever you're drinking, which is basically what we were there to do. It's just perfect, just like it is. One of the beers I got to try was called Fathead's IBUsive. It's probably pronounced abusive, but the IBU, it's a really hoppy beer. I can't say it was my favorite beer on the planet, even though I really like hoppy IPAs. It was definitely an acquired taste, and by the end of it, when it got a little warm, it wasn't my favorite thing on the planet, but definitely a fun kind of thing to order there. The first time I ordered it, it was tapped out, but they replaced the tap and he came back and asked me if I still wanted it. Might as well. As far as the main dishes, Cassie ended up ordering a chicken sandwich, which is what I had my eye on. And I ordered a cheesesteak. I know after the last review, I said that I wasn't gonna do any more cheesesteaks. I really don't see myself ordering a cheesesteak for the rest of the trip, but never say never. But honestly, there wasn't too much else on the menu that had tickled my fancy, so to speak. So I figured I would just go with the cheesesteak and see, let's get another basis of comparison. The cheesesteak here was quite a bit different. It's a fluffier roll, like even more fluffy than Cleaver's. And inside it wasn't really like jam-packed with steak. I think as far as these places, like $12 is the going rate for a cheesesteak sandwich. And that's what it was here. And it was just absolutely one of those things. This one had American cheese. It was the first cheesesteak I've had with American cheese. So now I've sampled the one at Pat's and Gino's, which has Cheese Whiz, the one at Cleaver's, which had provolone, and then this one, which had American cheese. So I could tell you from all 3 of them, I think my favorite is with the whiz, but I think that's probably just like one of those minute details that really comes down to your own personal preference. Mind you though, that $12 doesn't come with any sides, so you gotta keep that in mind if you're ever gonna check this place out. The cool thing about it is, today it was like, even at the time that we went, we got there at like a little after 7 o'clock. It's like 95 degrees out there. The beer garden area in the back was totally packed, which it was one of those things where we walked up to it and we're like, we really don't want to sit outside in this kind of like sticky weather. And even sitting in there, like this is all sticky right now, and I'm feeling like I need to change, but gotta finish the review first. So we ended up walking inside and sitting down inside, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, so we walked down the alley, past the beer garden, they let us in the door, and I just had to try this drink. It's called All About the Benjamins. And I gotta go to the notes to tell you what it is. All About the Benjamins Baby, actually. It's a Jim Beam Black, orange cherry bitters, and an edible $100 bill. When I read about this online, I'm like, this is the perfect experience. When I'm outside of my home area, I gotta try things that are transcendent and just outside of the ordinary, and this totally fit the bill. And before we get too far into it, if you wanna know what a $100 bill tastes like, it tastes like communion wafers. If you've ever gone to a Catholic church and partook in that whole ceremony of the gods, the God. It's the Holy Trinity, it's gods, right? Anyhow, that's exactly what it tastes like. When it came to the table, he was also taking our order at the time, and I noticed this thing was starting to shrivel down into the drink. So I'm like, this moment's fleeting. Let me grab my camera, get a little bit of B-roll on it. And it was a really fun drink. It was a little bit flawed, and I don't want you to think that like the entire night was a disaster. Like, yes, there were some mistakes with the order. When he put in the cheesesteak, he hadn't put it in initially. 2 orders of mozzarella sticks came out. The beer I wanted was tapped out. The drink I ordered wasn't my favorite thing on the planet. So let me tell you where this thing kind of had a flaw. It reminded me a lot between the Jim Beam Black and the bitters. They used an orange cherry bitter. It reminded me of an old fashioned. It even had like a really, really thick ice cube on top of it to chill it down. What it was missing was a sweet element. So you kind of had that bitterness. You had, you know, that Jim Beam Black flavor, which is kind of a harsh liquor, really, if you think about it. And it didn't have any sweetness to cut through it. You know, even if they would have used like one of those cherries in there, you know, Luxardo cherry or something like that. Even a maraschino cherry, honestly, would have been a good addition to it. Maybe a splash of simple syrup or something. Maybe I like my drinks too fruity, and maybe I'm to blame. So I'm not blaming it on them, but it was a fun drink nonetheless. You know, anything that comes out with a $100 bill sticking out of it, you know, even if it's not a real $100 bill, you got to give it respect. So as far as a little like fun little hip place where you can get a beer and a couple of snacks, you know, the cheesesteak there, like I said, is probably a little bit more on the fancier side, kind of thicker, fluffier, not as much meat inside. You know, so don't set your expectations that you're gonna get like this junk food kind of experience. Definitely a little bit more dainty, I guess is the right word for that. But, you know, really chill atmosphere, really cool. They had these posters from concerts over all different, you know, time periods, all different genres of music, all different locations. So there was no like main theme to it other than like this really cool wall that kind of had this circular aspect to it, and just a cool little vibe. Definitely a fun little place, even though it was just the two of us. You know, you saw a lot of people in there kind of having a good time and chilling, and exactly what you're looking for if you're going on vacation. If you enjoyed this video, hit it with a like down below and consider subscribing. If this is your first video here on the channel, I share my dining experiences and recipes, so I'd love to meet you. Comment down below. And if you want to see the rest of our travel videos, I'll leave a link to those right here.